Our club mission is we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. So I'd like to invite you to stand for us to pledge allegiance. Sorry, let me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And now I turn to Susan.
I am the grammarian today, and I'll type the word of the day in a moment, but the word is inimitable. It's an adjective, and it means unique and beyond imitation, or impossible to duplicate or copy. And it used in a sentence, Vermeer's works are unparalleled because of his masterly, inimitable ability to paint light. Inimitable. I'll type it in the, yeah, you can't see it from there. I'll type it in the chat after I have my presidential duties. So welcome as president today. We have a very special experience here today because we have our immediate past district director, Pim Papart. Although she thought she was retiring, we're still utilizing her inimitable skills, and she will be installing our new officers. And I'm looking around, we have 4 of us here, and 2 are among the missing at the moment. If they join us late, I will certainly allow them into the meeting, but I'd like to, without further ado, welcome Pim Papart.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. Would the last term officers please raise your hand? If you have served last term, please raise your hand. You have been discharged from all of your duties and responsibilities. Thank you for your excellent service to this club. I am here to install the new officers of Go Talk Toastmasters Club. Their collective challenge is to make this club one of the best in Toastmasters International. This will involve helping the members achieve their goals as well as leading the club to President's Distinguished Club status this coming year. Because we're not in person, when I call your name, I'm going to ask you to raise your hand. Well, each officer is obligated to attend monthly club executive committee meetings, attend club officer training held twice a year, and the first one is this weekend, prepare a successor for his or her respective office. For the club president, VPE, and club secretary, you also will be serving as Pathways manager. I will now describe the challenges and key responsibilities for each officer, beginning with the Sergeant-at-Arms. Please raise your hand, Toastmaster Mara. As Sergeant-at-Arms, you arrange the meeting location, assume that we will be going back to in person. You will maintain club equipment in working order, ensure that adequate club supplies are available, set up the room before the meeting begins, make all relevant educational and PR material on display, attend to special equipment needs, greet guests, and to help the president make sure the meeting begins on time. Toastmaster Mara Will you perform these duties to the best of your ability? Please unmute and answer.
Yes, I will.
Thank you. Club treasurer is not here, correct?
Right.
Okay. We will go right to our club secretary, Julie. As secretary, could you please raise your hand? As secretary, you maintain an accurate membership roster and attendance. You submit the new club officer list to the Toastmasters International by June 30th. Work with the treasurer to ensure that new member applications and dues get to Toastmaster International World Headquarters as soon as possible. Work with the treasurer to submit your club's renewal dues to Toastmasters International on time. Provide the club with minutes of each meeting. Toastmaster Julie, will you perform these duties to the best of your ability?
I will.
Thank you. And Lisa is not here. We have VP of Education, Tina Smith. As Vice President Education, you gain commitment from members to set educational goals for themselves. Assure that club members are aware of the schedule of meeting roles. Plan meetings that will assist members in meeting their goals. Work with club members to keep meetings fun and well-run. Work with your members to ensure that they submit their application for educational awards promptly. Provide for educational topics at club meetings such as those from the Successful Club Series and Better Speakers Series. Represent your club at area council meetings. As the second highest ranking officer, preside over the meeting when the president is absent. Toastmaster Tina, will you perform these duties to the best of your ability? We can't hear you.
I will.
Thank you. Club President Susan, as president of Girl Talk, you are the Chief Executive Officer. You will preside at all club meetings and all meetings of the Club Executive Committee. It is your challenge to see that this club adds new members and meets the needs of its current members to achieve their communication and leadership goals. Establish a club climate that is supportive, stimulating, and rewarding to its members. Realize that among the resources available to you are fellow club members, club officer team, club officers handbook, area director, division director, District 84 website, and all other district officers. President Susan, you hold the gavel as a symbol of the power and authority that your club has given you during your term of office. I am confident that you will use this wisely and with restraint. President Susan, as a member of Girl Talk Club, as well as its leader, will you work with your executive team and club members to make Girl Talk Clubs a President's Distinguished Club this year?
Yes, I will.
Will the members, well, most of you are officers, but please all raise your hand, please. All club members and officers, because you don't have enough members left. Your officer team has just pledged to serve this club to the best of its ability to be the best Toastmaster club possible and to meet the needs of all its members. Your club will need active participation from each member. Do you, as members, pledge to work together with your officer team to make Girl Talk Club the finest Toastmasters club it can possibly be?
Yeah,
I do.
I will. Yeah.
By the authority vested in me as immediate past District 84 Director, it is my sincere pleasure to declare these Toastmasters officers installed in their respective club offices. Congratulations and good luck.
Thank you, Pam. Thank you. And since we had turned on our meeting initially, we've had a few others join us. We'd like to welcome Barb first off and Anita. We do have some open roles, but before I go to that, I wanted to remind the officers that if you have not already, please register for the officers training, and it is open to all members. So you should have all gotten an email. There are 3 sessions to be run. One is this Saturday from 12:30 to 5. Several elective sessions that will be there in addition to the officers' roles. And the second training will be on Sunday, the 25th, same time frame, 12:30 to 5. And then there's an express session that will be held on Wednesday, July 28th, so that you can have just the officers training, no electives. I'd like to, at this point, try to fill the agenda before we move to our Vice President of Education for the educational moment, with your permission. Since we don't have a Toastmaster of the day, would Barbara or Anita like to be our Toastmaster?
Hey, hi.
Hi.
I was unmuted and camera off, sorry. I can only stay on until like 7 o'clock, so I gotta get on another call. Have to get on another call, sorry.
Okay. Barb, would you like to be our Toastmaster today?
I can do that.
Superb. We do have 2 scheduled
Remind me
speakers
where the role is on here, so I can download it, the script.
from the Free Toast.
Mhm.
Should be available there.
Okay.
Our first speaker, Stephanie, has not arrived, so Julie, you will not have a role today as evaluator unless she shows up later on, as she is sometimes known to do. We have our timer is listed as Laura Stafford. So Pim, would you be so kind as to do our timing? Do it that way. And we do have our general evaluator out. So Tina said she would do that for us instead of Diana. I'm going to, at this point, return control of this portion of our meeting to our incoming newest Vice President of Education, Tina Smith, for our educational moment. Please help me welcome Tina.
Thank you, Madam President. Fellow Toastmasters, and we don't have any guests today. So ladies, it's going to be a pleasure to be your Vice President of Education. I have sat down with Susan and received extensive training in pathways, which I'm happy to announce I am not as afraid of it as I was in the past. So that's going to help me immensely to be the best VP that I can for you ladies. What I want to do in this educational moment is to tell you what you can expect from me. For starters, you can expect me to be there when you need me to be, to help you along your path, your journey and pathways, to answer any questions that you may have, or if you need any training as to how to present your speeches in pathways and then go on to complete the cycle in Club Central, because there's 2 parts to completing your cycle. A lot of people know about the one in pathways, but you must go to Club Central to complete your cycle. Some of the other things that I will be doing, I will be more hands-on with, as Vice President of Education, for example, I will use phone calls because we get so inundated with emails and texts and all kinds of electronic communication, but I will try to call you and either do friendly reminders about let's have your speech and pathway or in the agenda. If you don't know how, then I can teach you. I don't want to do the work for you. I'd rather train you. Give a man a fish, he eats for one day. Teach him how to fish, he eats for a lifetime. So that's the model that I'd like to live by. So I also would like to get to know you better. And that way I can address your needs, because we're all different. We all have different ways of receiving things. So I want to pay close attention to how you would like to be interact with. That's the best word I could use. How you would like me to interact with you. I am free for you to call me at any time. I'm retired. I do work part-time, but it's only 3 days a week, and it's only from 8:30 to 1 or 2 o'clock. So I'm available for you anytime. Some of the things that I'd like to pay more attention to is tracking and pathways, keeping track of our functionary roles, because that's very important. I've had some different tools that's been presented to me that I'll show you as far as keeping track of our functionary roles, because that's important. And I think it's a pretty fun way of doing it. It gives us a little colorful challenge for each other, healthy challenge, I should say, to help us along our journey. Mentoring, that's going to be very, very important. That's one of the areas, not only in Girl Talk, but across the board in Toastmasters, that needs a little extra push. So I'm going to be pushing for you all to either, if you like, to have a mentor, or formally or informally, it's completely up to you. I will be checking where you are in your past. When was the last time you gave a speech? That's possible, because I believe, other than Susan and Pam and Julie, that most of you only belong to Girl Talk. Does anyone in here belong to another club besides Girl Talk? Besides the names I mentioned? Well, that'll make it so much easier for me in pathways, because when you belong to more than one club, if you're signed into one of your other clubs, I can't see you. So I will have to call you to say, hey, Susan, could you sign into Girl Talk so I can look at your educational path? And that's all I have for you for this first educational moment for myself. My personal goal, my personal model is going to be actively protect my members. And the way I can do that is to stay engaged with you and help you to stay engaged as well, because you're in here for a reason. You joined Toastmasters for a reason, whatever it may be, and I want to help you achieve that goal. Madam President.
Thank you, Tina. We appreciate that. Next up, we are going to have our Toastmaster of the day. Barb, were you successful in finding the script on the Free Toast Toast?
I have a script, yes.
That'll work. Go for it. I'd like to introduce our Toastmaster of the day, Barb Garofalo.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests. I'm Barb Garofalo. I am your Toastmaster for the evening today. Our word of the day has already been delivered by our word master, Susan Schultz. Susan, thank you. Would you like us to remind us what that is?
The word of the day is inimitable. I put it in the chat, although Anita, you joined later, so you may not be able to see it. The meaning of the word is that it is unique and beyond imitation, impossible to duplicate or copy. The inimitable Anita Lytle will be with us only for a few moments, but at least she's here. Glad to see you.
Thank you, Susan. And the inimitable Susan Schultz will also be our grammarian and uncounter, so we thank her for her extended service this evening. Our timer this afternoon is Laura Stafford. Laura, wave.
We've changed that to Pim.
Pim. Hi, Pim. Pim, welcome. Thank you for helping out this evening with our meeting, so thank you for that very much. Finally, it's time for the main program for the meeting, the prepared speeches. Today, we have 3 brave speakers who will be advancing their educational programs. Speaker number 1 has not yet joined us, so I'm going to jump on down to speaker number 2, who is now our speaker number 1. Speaker number 2 is Rosamund Fife. Rosamund. There we go. And Rosamund will be evaluated by Tina Smith. Tina, will you give us Rosamund's level, speech, and time?
Yes, Madam Toastmaster. I do not have the path that she is presenting her speech in, but I do have her title, time, and objective. She will be speaking from Understanding Your Leadership Style. Her speech title is called Leadership and Effectiveness. Her time is 5 to 7 minutes. The purpose of this project is for the member to identify her primary leadership style and to share some aspects of her primary leadership style or discuss the style in general. Her title is Leadership and Effectiveness, Madam Toastmaster.
All right, thank you very much, Tina. So with no further delay, let's please welcome Rosamund to provide her speech. Thank you, Rosamund.
Leadership. It's a practical skill encompassing the ability of an individual, a group, or an organization to lead, guide, or influence other individuals, teams, or entire organizations. Dr. Stephen Covey said, "Leadership is a choice, not a position." Today, I want to share with you his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I think one of the most important attributes of any leader is effectiveness. I will list the habits, share my faves, as well as some steps that you can take today to be more effective right away. So we could relate the 7 habits to a tree. So a tree has to have deep and strong roots that we don't see. And in order for us to publicly observe a beautiful and tall tree grow up, the tree needs to renew itself with sunshine and rain. The private victory habits 1, 2, and 3, be proactive. Begin with the end in mind. Put first things first. Habits 4, 5, and 6 for the public victory. Think win-win. Seek first to understand and then to be understood. And synergize. Finally, the renewal habit, number 7, sharpen the saw. The first and most fundamental habit of an effective leader is to be proactive. More than just taking initiative, it's taking responsibility for your life and for your business. Reactive people are often just going based off of their feelings. Proactive people, they're driven by values. What matters most is how you react to life's experiences. Proactive people focus their efforts on the things that they can change, not on the things that they don't have any control over. Let's say that you're in charge of planning the annual picnic for Division B. Instead of worrying about whether rain will ruin the event and thinking about what you can't control, the proactive leader would just plan for a venue with a rain shelter to accommodate for the factors that can't be controlled. The proactive leader would immediately start making inquiries and reservations as soon as the date is set and not waste any time procrastinating. Because if plan A isn't available, there'll still be time for plan B. So we focus our proactivity and nurture it by making and keeping commitments to ourselves and to others. The next habit. How do you begin with the end in mind? I want you to use your imagination for habit number 2. Think many years into the future and imagine your funeral. I know it's a little morbid, but stick with me. Imagine what your loved ones will say about you. What will they remember? What did you accomplish? What difference did you make? Okay, back to the here and now. Those thoughts that you just had, they can help you to realize what your values are. And you can use those values to create a mission statement, something that will guide you and work and focus on what really matters most. Every day, everything you do should bring you a little bit closer to that mission for your life or your organization. When you begin with the end in mind, you can stay focused on the things that matter most. Think of a college student. Her goal is to obtain a degree by completing a certain number of credits. And every semester, she gets a few credits closer to her degree. Each day, she gets closer to completing the semester by going to class, attending lectures, doing homework, taking exams. And without those consistent daily tasks, she would never earn the degree. Some students get sidetracked by some extracurricular activities and wind up flunking out. This happens when they fail to begin with the end in mind. A very important principle in the book that is not a habit is PPC balance. That's production capability balance. The Goose That Laid the Golden Eggs is an Aesop fable about this magical goose that laid a golden egg every single day. And the owner got so greedy, he killed the goose looking to get the gold inside, but there was no gold. And by then, the goose was dead and there were no more golden eggs to be laid. We must be mindful to not get so carried away with production that we neglect to maintain our production capability. Habit number 7, sharpening the saw. That allows us to increase our production capability, and it also allows us to continue practicing the other 6 habits. Imagine that you were an inimitable carpenter, making lots of money thanks to your creative mind and your talented hands. Now imagine that you never sharpened your saw. How long would you be profitable or stay in business? Not long at all. This habit is about renewal in 4 areas: physical, social emotional, spiritual, and mental. Mental for you could be learning something new, and spiritual could be communing with nature. The great thing about this is that activity in any one of these areas can benefit another. For example, physical exercise can help to improve your emotional status, and it can give you some mental clarity. All this leadership stuff, it's not just for business leaders. It's great for teens, kids, families. They make versions of this book for almost anyone, and I think it makes an awesome graduation present. I have a challenge for you today. I'd like to invite you to take some time and make a list. Write down what you value, who you want to be, what you want to do, and try to develop a mission statement. It could be for your life, it could be for your Toastmasters journey, or it could be for your career. I bet you if you do this project and you post your mission statement someplace where you'll see it daily, before you know it, your productivity will increase, and so will your effectiveness, and your leadership will start to shine. Thank you. Madam Toastmaster?
Thank you, Rosamond. That was great. And I'm going to send you my list. I actually have one. Be afraid. Very afraid. I do not see that our speaker number 1 has joined. So what I'd like to do, rather than holding up the meeting or delaying any further, is go on ahead and jump to our table topics for the evening. Our table topic master for this evening is Mara Sausa. Excuse me if I'm butchering that name on you.
It's fine.
Please come to the lectern and share your table topics with us.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I will guide my questions tonight in the topic about the Olympics, as we will have the Tokyo Olympics that actually was supposed to be last year, but it will be starting next Friday. Then I would like to start with Pim. What is the sport that you think that it's the most interesting to watch?
Madam Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters. Because it is a Summer Olympic, right? The most interesting for me will be the swimming. Because swimming always a big deal, especially that tall guy. I don't remember his name anymore. It's been a long time. That tall, skinny guy that won like 5 or 6 gold medals at the same time. That would be my favorite sport. You know why? Because it's short. They swim and they're done. It's not like baseball or all the other stuff that take hours to see the finish. So my favorite sport will be anything short, like swimming or running or anything that outdoor. I'm not interested in the tennis game because that take a while before somebody wins. So that is my most favorite sport for this Summer Olympic. And I hope someday I can put this in my bucket list to attend in person someday. Madam Table Topic Master.
Thank you, Pim. Great answer. Barbara, what is your opinion about the pay gap between men's and women's in sport?
I'm sorry, can you repeat?
What is your opinion about the pay gap? How much men's and women's gain in the sport?
Madam Topic Master, thank you for bringing this very important topic up this evening. I wish I had worn one of my favorite t-shirts, which says, "You owe me 46 cents, which is the pay gap that I'm suffering under every hour of every day. Pay gaps are a slap in the face no matter what industry you are in. Not only do they exist between men and women in places like sports, they exist between men and women in business. Also, many minorities, Asian, Latino, African American, are also impacted by unfair wage gaps. While we've made a tremendous amount of progress in the 30 plus years that I've been in industry, this continues to be a sense of national disgrace to me, that in an advanced world, in the supposed greatest nation in the world, we have not found a better way to solve this problem. Part of that is that business overall still operates largely like a patriarchy, since that is the advantage of the people who are making the larger sums of money. People are encouraged to not speak about money. People are encouraged not to be honest about it. Salary tiers and ranges are not provided to people, and people are treated like children. So I obviously don't think that it's fair in sports, but I get more upset and actually quite passionate about how it affects your average American today. I think that this is something that we can't speak of enough. Madam Topic Master, thank you.
Thank you, Barbara, and I agree with you. Tina, have you ever had the dream to participate of the Olympics? And if yes, what sport would it be?
I didn't, could you repeat the question? Have you ever
had the dream to participate of the Olympics game? And if yes, which sport would it be?
If I ever had a dream to participate at the Olympic Games, and which sport would I participate? It would definitely be track and field. I am in awe of those women and how fast they can run around that track, especially the relays, because they have to hand that baton while they're running about 20 miles an hour to their partner. And for the relay, it's a group sport. So everybody has to be together, synergistic. You have to figure out who's going to be the lead, who's going to bring up the rear. So track and field would be the sport I would participate in. Those ladies that can do the long jump, I think that's what it's called, when they go running and then they have to jump in the sand to see how
It's
far
amazing.
they can jump. That is so amazing. There are other sports that women participate in, such as gymnastics, but I think track and field is the best sport that I love to watch, or if I had the talent, I would do Madam Table Topic Master.
Thank you, Tina. Julie, have you already heard that some medalist winners suffer of depression of winning? And what would be your advice for these people to keep them motivated?
I need to listen to you again.
No problem. If you already heard that some medalists, after receiving the gold medal, they suffer of depression because they feel that they don't have anything else to conquest. And what would be your advice for them to keep them motivated?
That one question is the right for me. I feel actually sorry for those people who have to compete in anything because they give only one winner, one gold, and the rest of the people will feel that they are losers. I don't know how to explain my pain that I feel that once you get to an Olympic game as a participant, you are all winners. And I really don't know how to solve this issue because I am very much against any kind of competition. I am not a competitive person. Susan knows me pretty well, and I keep saying I will never compete in speech contests because that's just not my type of pleasure. Yesterday, I was watching on YouTube that in England, they actually have a competition for painters. In 4 hours, they have to sit in front of a model and 16 people compete for one winning status. I have never heard anything like that. America Got Talent, American Idol, and all sorts of competition. I think that there are so many talented people who feel they are losers because they don't get the first place. I can't convince you, especially Pim or Susan, not to compete in Toastmaster speeches, but I can guarantee I feel sorry for those people who did not win. Back to Mara.
Thank you, Julie. Ross, during this COVID situation, there were some discussions for the athletes having family with them during the Olympic Games this year. What do you think about how important it is for the athlete to have the family around during this kind of games?
Thank you, Madam Table Topic Master. I think it's very important, probably for most people. Not everyone values family the way that I do or others do. Everyone's different. I imagine that a lot of people got a lot of support from their families while they were competing. Training to be an athlete at that Olympic competitive level is challenging. I don't think that someone can successfully train for the Olympics while managing a household or their lifestyle. I don't know if that person has time to do laundry or to cook or to clean. It takes a village to raise a child. I think it takes a village to raise an Olympic athlete. I imagine that perhaps there are parents who are supporting young adults who might be away from home and out of the country in a strange land with a different language for the first time, and they need that support network. I think there's emotional support. I think just knowing that someone's there in your corner, someone who has your back, whether you win or you lose, you want to see a face that's familiar, that loves you and appreciates you no matter what. In our culture, if someone goes to compete and comes back home and they don't win, it's okay to an extent. In other cultures, it is not okay. And it would be very important for those people to have someone, I imagine, to console them. So I would conclude with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ross. And Susan, I have one for you as well. Do you usually watch the Olympic Games opening ceremony? If yes, which one do you remember the most? And if not, what is your opinion about that big show?
Thank you, Madam Table Topic Master. Yes, I do watch the opening ceremonies. They're magnificent. And the closing ceremonies. But some countries just go over the top. I remember several of them. One was here in the United States back in the 80s. It was in Atlanta. And they had people walking in stilts, and they had these big puppets that were walking by. At least I think that was the one that I was watching. It was mesmerizing from start to finish. But the all-time one that comes to memory is China. Just by the sheer number of people that they had beating the drums or moving in such precision movements, it was as if we were able to see 1,000 people that were acting like robots. Not the human motions, but very rhythmic, very precise. I'll never forget that. It was so amazing to watch, and a great statement on what discipline can do. I'm sure we see some of that in other places in our world, such as the military, where you see the precision, but everything that we see today around, not in the Olympics, but around the world, I don't see a lot of precision movements anymore. Everything is getting very lackadaisical and perhaps even a little sloppy from my observation. So I really was impressed by that one. Madam Topic Master.
Yes, Susan. Turn to over. I don't know. Help me, Susan. I turn to Barbara, Toastmaster. Thank you.
Thank you, Mara. Great set of table topics there, and a very current topic as well, talking about the Olympics. And Julia, I just have to say, I'm glad you're not going to compete, because that's one more cold, dead body I won't have to crawl over, right? That'll make it that much easier. So thanks for that. And at this point, since our other speaker is not going to be in attendance this evening, I want to turn the meeting over to our general evaluator for the last segment of the meeting. And our general evaluator of the evening is, somebody help me.
Tina.
Hi, Tina. Is Tina Smith. Please help me in welcoming Tina Smith.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters, this is a portion of our meeting where we receive feedback to apply to our next projects and to see areas where we can improve. Tonight we had one speaker, Roz, who myself will be her evaluator. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce the evaluator for Roz, myself. Barb, you are standing for
I apologize. I just came from PT for an injury, so I can't sit. So I'm up
Okay.
and down. Sorry about the torso on
Okay.
the screen.
I am standing too, but.
Okay, I gotcha. So without further ado, fellow Toastmasters and Roz, what a wonderful speech. What a wonderful way that you used the slides and then stopped the slides and came back to us, and how you flawlessly did that. That was amazing. I really appreciate that. But I want to start with your beginning. You immediately gave us a roadmap. You gave us the definition of leadership, which is great. And then you mentioned my favorite person, Stephen Covey. It's like, oh, yay! I was all ears then. I was been all ears anyway, but you mentioned Stephen Covey. And I've had some Stephen Covey training long time ago, but I immensely enjoyed it. And you went in to tell us about the 7 habits of highly effective people, but your visual was excellent. The tree. I'm a visual person, and that's how I remember things. You used that tree method, and I wrote down the statement that you said about the tree renewing yourself to give it by sunshine and water. That was really amazing. It really touched me, and it was very memorable for me to remember. You went on to talk about 3 of the habits. I don't think you talked about all 7 habits. You just picked 3. That's what I thought. Okay, so I was on the same page with you. Habit 1, 2, and 7. Yes, and what I loved about the 3 habits that you picked, you gave us 2 examples for each of the 3 habits. For example, when you were talking about begin with the end in mind, you used a funeral example, although morbid, but it was effective. And then you went to the other side and talked about a college student. So I was able to marry the 2 together to say, oh yeah, that's a perfect way to remember begin with the end in mind, and then to sharpen the saw. I didn't know where you was going with that, but you explained it very well. You have a great voice to listen to. I could listen to your voice all day long. It's very soothing. It has excitement in it. What I would like for you to do is to slow down. Put some purposeful pauses to give us time to absorb all of the excitement that you're giving us, because it's wonderful. So put some purposeful pauses in your speaking. Yes. What I would challenge you on is your introduction. It was a great introduction because it did give us a roadmap, but I was sitting here thinking, and the words were leadership and effectiveness. So I was thinking she could have started off with direction, fruitful, management, productivity. These are also words that are synonymous with leadership and effectiveness. Maybe you could have asked us, what do you think about when you hear those words? How about leadership and effectiveness? And then you could have went into your definition of leadership and effectiveness. I loved your speech. It was wonderful. I enjoy listening to you as much as evaluating you. Great job, Roz. You met your objective. Madam General Evaluator. All right, switching hats. It's now time for us to hear how our technical team did today. Starting off with our timer, Toastmaster Pam, could you tell us how we did with our time?
Yes, right now the timer is stuck. I could not change the color. My background is stuck. But for the speaker number 1,
Pam.
it's around 1 minute. I forgot to time myself. Barbara, 1 minute and 36 seconds.
I don't hear you.
Are you there, Pam? Pam, we lost you, Pam.
Yeah.
Pam? Okay, well, right now, Pam, if you can hear me, what I'm going to do is proceed with the and grammarian, and then when your signal is stronger, I'll come back to you. So at this time, I'll bring up our and grammarian, which is Toastmaster Susan. You perform both roles.
I did.
The floor is yours.
Thank you. I'd like to start off with first the counter. Tina, you had one as you were starting today. Barb had one one and one They were very quick, but they were there. Mara, only one before you started. And on the word of the day, I snuck it in as part of our sentences at one time. Looks like Pim's coming back in the meeting. We had Barb was able to use the word of the day and Roz in her prepared speech. When I was speaking as my presidential role, I had a double clutch. I don't remember the example, but I remember struggling over it. Tina, you had one double clutch. I had another one for me. Okay, I have a crutch doing it. In your grammarian role, oh my gosh, my mouth is so tired. Grammatical error. You said runnin'. You didn't say the G at the end. You had runnin'. And you started a sentence off when you were introducing yourself as general evaluator and then the evaluator. And you said myself will be. The myself could be at the end of the sentence, but at the beginning of the sentence, we might prefer I. You may say the evaluator will be me, myself, but if you're starting off a sentence, it should probably be I to start. And that would conclude my report today, other than my tongue twister. Pim, we're going to go back to you for the timers report because you froze up on us.
Yep, let's start over. Rosamond, 7 minutes and 28 seconds. For table topic, Pim, 1 minute. Barbara, 1 minute and 36 seconds. Tina, 1 minute and 4 seconds. Julie, 2 minutes and 3 seconds. Rosamond, 1 minute and 40 seconds. Susan, 1 minute and 40 seconds. And for evaluator, Tina, 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Thank you, Madam Timer, Madam Grammarian, and counter. Now it's time for me to give my overall assessment of our meeting, and it was fabulous. We always do such a great job, ladies. The speech was just so uplifting. It motivated me because I have a new outlook this year, especially after coming off being a division director. I have a new outlook. I have a new appreciation for myself and not being conceited. I say this humbly. I have a new appreciation for myself because of some of the things that I didn't think I could do, and I did. So I'm very proud of myself in that sense. So thank you all that pushed me to be the division director. Pim. So our meeting was fantastic. You ladies are just phenomenal. We had a great meeting, got to hear a great speech. Maria, table topics were spot on. It's the Olympic season, so they were perfect. And Susan, your word of the day is always great to use at any time. I would try to pronounce it, but I'd botch it up, but it's okay now because we're done with our reports. Susan?
Inimitable.
Inimitable. There we go. Inimitable. Say that 3 times fast.
Once is good.
Our functionaries did an excellent role. I would like to remind you that we don't turn over our meetings. We relinquish control, or it's now the grammarian's time to give her turn, but we don't turn over the meeting. As Susan and I always have that visual of her turning over the meeting. We relinquish control to the next person in line. Other than that, we had a fabulous meeting. And at this time, I will relinquish control back to our Toastmaster of the day, Barb, who will give us our winners of the table topic. Did we do a poll for the table topic?
I did not do a poll.
Everybody wins for table topics, but I now relinquish control back to our Toastmaster of the day. Barb.
Thank you, Tina. Guys, it's been a pleasure serving as your Toastmaster today, and I hope you've enjoyed the meeting. I certainly enjoyed it. Sorry for making you stare at my belly button on and off, but I'm super uncomfortable right now and doing everything I can not to just swear. So at this time, I'd like to turn the meeting over, or return control of the meeting to our club president.
Thank you, Barb. And we don't know what's going on with you, but we hope you have a speedy recovery, obviously. We're glad that you could be here and join us tonight. I'd like to say a special thank you to Pim for coming and joining us today and installing our new officers. You're not done yet, even though you might be the has-been. We're still going to be turning to you for lots of extra goodies. And we have a little surprise for you in just a second. I just allowed someone to come in. So 1 minute, 2, 3, 4. Happy birthday!
Thank you.
We're just saying our goodbyes. So Pim, do you want to ask her, does she? Does she? Say yes. You're installed. Yes?
I'm installed.
Yes,
I do.
You're officially installed as VPM and VPPR.
Thank you.
We know that you're agreeable. Thank you very much for joining us, even the 11th hour. We did have Anita here for about 15 minutes also at the beginning of the meeting, so that was also a nice treat. We're glad that you could join us. Next, I'm going to give control of the meeting to Tina Smith to take the assignments for our next meeting, our Vice President.
May I say something
Yes,
before? Yeah, I just want to express my admiration, first of all, tomorrow. The table topic subjects were so good, Lisa, that you missed a very appropriate and timely table topic, and all responses were pretty good, and we are all winners. Okay. The second thing that I really want to emphasize, I am a certified Stephen Covey instructor. And I used to teach the 7 habits. And Rose, you did a fabulous job summarizing the essence of the whole thing. And even though I am not an evaluator for you, but I want you to improve because you are improving every second. The essence of the title is the 7 habits of highly effective habits, because it could have been highly successful, but success and effectiveness are not the same. So if you think about that, next time you present it in a winning competition type speech, maybe you want to include that.
Especially since you won't be competing.
I won't be competing, that's for sure. But thank you very much, Tina, to let me talk, because I was so impressed with these 2 people that I had to pour out my heart.
Alrighty, we're going to stop the recording at this point while we get the schedule for next visit. Thank you.
Oh, you didn't have to record my